Can you get that in time?
Yeah. Nope, you're good.
Thanks everyone for coming today. We're going to go through an Anchor membership information session. As part of that, I'm going to go over the brief history, the model, where it's happened, why it's happened, what the benefits are for the organization, what the benefits are for the people that become members, and the benefits for the community. This is all really about building, community, and so you'll see as we go through that presentation. We also, there's a really key slide in here that shows you exactly why community organizations actually work compared to classic business restaurants. So thank you for coming. So, welcome. I kind of did that already. So, who are we? So right now there's a board of three. Scott, who is probably running in right now. Tatiana, who actually now lives in North Carolina, but is heavily involved in what we do. But we are the board. So I'm the chair of the board, and the other two are board members. And we are basically the head of the organization as it currently stands. What does that mean? It means that we're kind of on the pointy end of the stick when it comes to the ABC application. So, and that's kind of one of the things, that's where we are with regard to that, and I'll talk a little bit about that as we go through, how far we've come. Also in this room we have a number of members, so thank you, Jewel and Mark and Derek and Greg and Justin. Yeah, that's about it. But these are current members. And I would encourage you, particularly at the end, and I'll say it again right at the end, please go talk to the members about their involvement, why they did it, and also, any concerns you have. If you don't want to bring them to me, talk to the members. The members, we all work together as a group effectively to build this community venue. And that's really what we're trying to do. The purpose of the presentation is really just to give information to the community about what we're doing, and also invite future members. We have done what we've effectively called the foundation membership build. We're now moving on to what we're calling the anchor membership build. The reason being is that that's what's going to anchor us in terms of making sure that we have sufficient funds to move this model forward and start to really kind of become something well known in downtown Chico for the benefit of Chico. So, our journey so far. A very brief history. I'll keep it as short as I can. In February 2017, we actually built a brewery called British Bulldog Brewery. It was a private brewery on our private land. And for a couple of years, we ran it as a wholesale brewery. Our intent was to serve our beer through the local bars and restaurants, and they were going to become effectively our tap room. Well, it took us a couple of years, but we figured actually that wasn't really going to ever work for us. Because it's such a job, there's so many wholesalers out there just pushing beer, you're just one of many, even though they like to support local, the reality is keeping those doors open was very hard. Plus our beer is very specialist. A lot of our beers are British, which means they have to be served British style, which nobody could do. And so they really, it was something that we thought about, and we went, we really need to have our own pub. So in 2019, we opened the Allies Pub, which is known as a tied house. In other words, it served just our beer. We did bring in cider from Lassen Cider, but effectively it was our pub tied to the brewery. In January 2024, we made the family decision that we needed to find a solution to what we were doing. We'd run it for 5 years. We came out 6 months before COVID. Yay! So we've taken it through COVID. We became the arms and legs of this business, and we grew it, and we survived COVID, and we started to grow it out the other side again. But when we got to the sort of beginning of January 2024, we knew that we needed to take more of a backseat. Justin and Emma, family, they were having a baby, and they were moving in a different direction, and we needed to have a resolution. And what was the resolution? Really, there was only two traditional resolutions in the US. It's either you sell it or you close it. There's a lot of reasons why we didn't want to sell it. Number one being, nobody really wants to buy a restaurant in this current economy. And there's another reason we didn't want to close it, because A, we wanted it to continue. The community seemed to want it to continue. And I think people were actually going to come hunt me down if I did close it. There were a lot of people that didn't like that idea at all. So what did we do? We actually spent until May coming up with this plan. We borrowed this plan. We didn't come up with it. We borrowed it from the UK. It's a very, very big thing in the UK. Is community-funded pubs. Community-funded pubs. And so we basically took that model. We talked to them in the UK. We got surrounded by professionals. We got surrounded by all the people that know how to make these things work, and we turned it into that as a project. We launched it in May of 2024, and we found that there was sufficient interest within our sort of true core, what are now founding members, that this made sense. What we were projecting made sense, even in the US. Different culture, but it still made sense for Chico. With the founding members pledge, we then did the asset transfer on January 1. So effectively, as of January the 1st, this has been a community benefits pub, which means that it belongs to Chico, the broader community. It already is a community pub. What we need to do now is to make sure that that message goes out and we can get more community involvement through membership, through events, through things that we're doing down here to make this a core asset in downtown Chico. So we had a meeting at the end of February with the initial meetings to come up with an action plan about what we were going to do and how the model was transitioning, because obviously the family were now not directly involved. I'm kind of involved a lot, but that's just a chair. But I'm paid. It's all voluntary. Yeah. But we wanted to have it properly in professional staff, so we brought on a GM and we have a professional staff that runs the pub side of things. And then basically we've run through that period, and we're now into July, and now we're looking for that second round of membership. If you look at the very large yard ale that's behind the chair over here by the snug, you can see we've actually created a yard of ale, but it's actually a yard of membership. And you can see we're actually at position 30. We've got 100 memberships in this company, and we are at position 30, so we have sold 30 memberships. We're looking to sell another 20, and that 20 is referred to as the anchor membership. And it's called the anchor membership because that amount of members, the next 20 members, are effectively what will anchor this and ensure that we have the length of runway to really kind of start to increase our impact in downtown Chico. So that is effectively the short and brief history. What is a community benefit corporation? For those of you that don't understand exactly what we're talking about, we differ from a traditional non-profit and businesses. And why is that? So within a traditional non-profit, they largely rely on annual grants, or they apply for grants and government grants, etc., and they also have to have donation-based support. So between donations and grants, every year it's this exercise to try and build enough emphasis, enough interest in what they're doing to make sure that they can exist and continue. We are different. We just need to get to the point where we have what we call the war chest, which we're growing through the membership, because we have an economic engine inside this non-profit. And the nice thing about that is once we are big enough and we have enough events, we have enough movement going through this place, is that economic engine will drive profitability, which will become funds that we can then utilize as a group of members and decide how to execute projects in downtown Chico or elsewhere in Chico that we as the group, as members, decide that are things that will be beneficial for this town. So the it's really kind of more like a classic business model, except it's an altruistic business model. You get to participate, but the idea is it's altruistic in its outcome. If we run it just like a business, so we have a GM who runs a staff, it has a board, it has membership, it has voting, we have board rotation, we have committees, but we are also a 501c3 non-profit corporate benefit corporation. And it's a bit of a mouthful. But essentially what that means is that we are a C Corp, we have articles of association, and we have a very extensive bylaws to prevent perversion from the main thrust of what we're trying to do here, which is to effectively grow a community venue for the benefit of the community. We are, as a non-profit, we are focused on being venue-based. We are a venue-based community space with an economic engine. So even though we actually were intending to call ourselves the Allies, until the IRS said there's already the Allies as a non-profit in New Jersey. So we called ourselves the Allies Pub anyway. But at least they know why. We have quarterly board meetings with invitations to all the members and prospective members, because we want to be as open as possible about our communications. We are transparent in terms of our finances, in terms of everything we're doing, and also to bring ideas in. The whole point of bringing in the community, bringing in the membership, is that we are greater as a whole, rather than it being one person's dream, one person's idea. We want to bring those ideas in. What have we achieved so far? Okay, so the founding members have participated in many ways already. Volunteering, I know Derek and Greg and Justin and I, when we're here, we get super busy and maybe we seem a little understaffed. You'll find us behind the bar pulling pints and helping, making sure we move those lines down. Event planning. We have event planning effectively run by my daughter Emma at this moment, but we already have a committee, an events committee, that's going to start to operate to help expand that capability so we can bring in more community-based events and bring more people to downtown Chico, more people to this beautiful venue. We also have, obviously, the members bringing in more customers because they're proud of what we're doing here, so they bring more customers in. Those customers then come and they become part of our core customer group. We're also looking to become more community outreach based, and that's something that I'm hoping that we'll see as we create the next round of participation. So within the anchor members, we're looking for people that have the ability to go into the community and really kind of become more of what we need so that people know about us. Did anyone see me on the TV yesterday? Perfect. Okay, hopefully I got you here, so that's good. But community outreach is a lot like that, except that it can be in professional groups, it can be anywhere, but it needs to be organised and it needs to be done so that we can create a bigger impression about what we do. This place, I never fails to amaze me the number of times when you talk about the Allies Pub and they go, "Oh yeah, I've heard of that. Where is it?" Yeah. And it's a double-edged knife. It's why it's such a beautiful venue, because it's off the beaten track. But the other side of it is you don't stumble into it. You go there because you know it's there. So that kind of spreading the word, spreading that community word and that community outreach is something that as a membership we will all need to participate in. In terms of the impact that the membership has had on this business, I really want to take you through this next slide, which I think is really important and shows you why this business model of a community-based membership really works. Welcome to Tuesday. So we didn't know exactly what it would look like in the after we moved across to a community organization, but when we did, and we when I say we, it's the royal we, follow the numbers on a daily basis. Just do. We have target revenue for each day of the week to know what we need to be sustainable and profitable. And for many days of the week, many of the early days of the week, it's $1,000 target revenue. Our average revenue on Tuesdays for the first 2 months was just over $200. So the question was put out, do we close on Tuesdays? No. Why not? We're a community pub. We are here for the community. What else do we do? Well, we start making Tuesdays more interesting. How do we do that? We bring in events from the membership. So at the end of February, we brought in the members, and we talked to the members. We said we need to start doing membership events and driving membership events on Tuesdays. So that was through about mid-March, because it took us a couple of weeks to organize. But this is what happened through the end of June. Didn't just meet it, we surpassed the target. That's the power of community, that's the power of membership, and that's the power that we can enhance and take on board by turning this thing into a membership organization. It's that simple, honestly. What does it come down to? Community membership, community ownership, community pride, and community getting behind the ideal. I think it's pretty cool. So, membership involvement opportunities. Well, there's obviously volunteering. Anyone wants to pull pints, we will teach you to pull pints. We will put you through ABC and ServeSafe training, so you can come here and you can do part of that. There are times, for example, we have a skinny staff. And when I say skinny, I'm talking about the number. Okay, I'm not body shaming anyone here. So we have a very thinned down staffing situation. And if we have somebody that pulls out, we need to be able to turn to a list that says these members are volunteers who are able to come pull pints and help out. Because it can become a crisis. Somebody goes out sick, dog dies, something. And to be able to pick up the phone, for the GM to pick up the phone and say, it's busier than we thought and we don't have enough people, we need to be able to respond. We already have we have volunteer groups. We have a text volunteer membership group where we reach out if we know we're going to need some people, and people sign up for that. You can participate in governance if your background is heavily in corporate, in the boardroom, etc. We welcome anyone that wants to become part of that advisory role. If you want to serve on committees, we're talking about the events committee. There are going to be multiple committees. There are going to be multiple event committees, specific event committees. So for right now, for example, Greg over there, I'm going to pull him out, is working on an EPL club for the Allies Pub. So that once he's got enough consistent membership in that club who want to come watch the EPL matches live here, we will start opening up early on Saturdays and Sundays specifically to answer that call from the community. And it goes on and on and on. Event hosting and support. So part of this is, as you come in, do you have passion? Do you have a passion about something? Is it Formula One? Is it racing? Is it whatever it is? Dancing, music. And we have a lot of music now. We actually have live music 4 days a week. And that was just a commitment for us to the community anyway, to provide a venue. We have Irish sessions that happen twice a month in the Snug. We have the Shanty Choir, which is actually tomorrow. I may be a part of that, along with others here. And we have actually members of the Irish session here too, as well. Thank you, Julie. But all of these things are really for passionate people who want to put on things for the community and for the community to react to that. So these are things that work out well for us. One of our members is actually working on trivia night. So one of the Tuesday activities right now is a trivia night. So I don't know if you've seen our events calendar, but our events calendar is pretty full for Tuesdays. So we have once a month trivia. We have member lecture series. This is kind of one of them, but we actually have members that say much more interesting things than I did. I did one on beer, which was more interesting. We've also had one of our members do the fall of the Mayan Empire. Highbrow in a pub. But his next one's actually going to be on the history and evolution of blues guitar playing. Yeah, who doesn't want to come to that, right? So events and hosting and support. And then we've got the community outreach. That's a piece that right now is on my shoulders pretty heavily, but it would be nice if we've got people that are connected to radio, television, and have the ability to really kind of spread the word and to make that a job for them so they know that they're constantly working on pulling that together.
And that also means we need people that can be in front of the camera so that we can pull him out of the camera.
Yes. I meant to say, I apologize.
So he doesn't body shame on television anymore.
I'm actually growing this for tomorrow because I'm in the shanty choir and I need to look like an old sailor. So as of Thursday, it will be Sean and it will be kind of back to normal again. But yeah, and so she interviewed me on the worst day possible, but that's okay. Transparency and use of the funds, as I said. There's going to be no secrets here. Nobody's hiding anything. We are transparent. The funds go in. We do quarterly financials. We literally have an open session here with the board once a quarter, and anyone and everyone's invited to come listen to it. We're not going to hide anything. Okay? But part of the point of that is, as we grow, we start to sort of move towards break-even and profitability with the economic engine. Is about then give us your ideas. Give us the days you could help cover. We've covered off Tuesdays, that's great. But now it's like, well, what about Sundays and Mondays and Wednesdays? That they weren't as bad as that, but they still need to be buffed and fluffed. So, kind of that's the next wave. So, how can you get involved? Well, it's a perpetual membership, okay? So the idea is it's a $5,000 buy-in, but it's perpetual. It's actually something you can then grant to your kids and your grandkids, etc. The idea is it's a one-time, like a membership to a golf club or something. It's just a one-time buy-in. It doesn't just have to be an individual. It can be an individual. It can be a family. You can do it as a family because there's a card we create which says membership, and you can have that within the family. If you had a club, like if you had a book club, you could have a book club membership. If you were, classic example here, a rugby club, Notty Oaks, you could create a membership for the club. It really doesn't matter to us, but what it does mean is there's one person that's identified as the vote caster, the person who's responsible for the club or the family, or making those votes. What else does it get you? Well, it gets you a permanent discount of anything you buy in the pub. So there's a 5% discount off of everything you buy at the pub for as long as you come here, or as long as your other people come here, forever. So it's a perpetual 5% discount. It also gives you the first right to any ticketed events. So we will be having ticketed events where we will have things like, classic one would be like September Beer Fest, or any of the other larger projects that we're doing. For example, maybe a rally, a road rally that's going to be happening here in October. It's going to be really interesting. It's going to be a fabulous thing that we're going to be doing. But these things that we're doing when they are ticketed, the members have the first right of refusal on participating in those. So you're on the inside as far as that's concerned. Also, as we move forward, we're going to have quarterly membership-only days, where effectively we will close the pub down and just have members only, so you can rub shoulders and kind of go, yay, we're doing great. And also to generate ideas and to consistently help promote and push what we've created here. If events coordination is your personal thing, well then please get involved on that. So if you have a passion that you want to bring, and you know that there's a lot of people in the community that would love to have a venue for something like that, We had a world dance session out here, absolutely amazing. Going to probably do that every 6 months now. It was a venue that they just didn't have, and it gave them the opportunity to not just be in some sports hall, to actually have it feel like it was a real venue. We have another member who does American swing dance, and he will be bringing people to do that here one evening or in September, and another one probably in the springtime. So again, you can see these are the events that we're running. So, now let's take us forward to the point that we're all in profitability. So we've run through the anchor, we've now got to break even, we're now making profits. The economic engine is working, it's all going great. So where are we now? Well, we're making profits. The members get to apply for projects that they would like to see us use those profits for. They're non-profit, so therefore they're not taxed. So we will have a tub of money to do things with. Hopefully downtown Chico, could be in the area as well, but just things that people are passionate about. Projects will be submitted to the board will sift through those, make sure that they're doable within the budgets that we have, and then the members will vote on what project they want to support. And based on that vote, we will then do those projects. So the payback then is not to a dividend, it's actually to create more and good building things for the community. It's I liken it to taking downtown Chico back by the community. Rather than waiting for the council to make some policy that helps, parking and all that sort of stuff, it's actually, why don't we just take it back ourselves? And this is really kind of what we're trying to generate right now. Yeah, volunteering committees serving, regular or ad hoc. And I guess really it's big part of the ownership of a key downtown community asset, which we think will spread and create an environment where more and more will happen downtown because of the fact that we are popular, that it will bring more people to the downtown area. So with that, I have a Q&A with the team. If you have any questions that you're brave enough to ask right now of the GM, the General Manager, or of the board, or of the members, please raise your hand if you've got any immediate burning questions. Yes.
Are your workers considered members?
The workers behind? No, they're fully paid. That's actually they're running that as that's their jobs. So it's actually creating valuable jobs in downtown Chico as well. So we have the GM and all the staff that work for the GM. They are employed. They get all the tips. They get all of the stuff that's going through. So that's just like a classic restaurant / bar / pub environment. They're absolutely paid for their work because it's really hard. So. They get paid well, but having said that, all of the money on the tips is actually shared amongst every member. So we actually, the dishwasher, cook, and front of house all share in the tips based on the service they put in, because we like to see that as a team. So it's a team-based remuneration plan. But we can enhance that by having members come in and volunteer their time.
Steve, probably a little too technical, but were you able to assign a lease to the nonprofit?
Yes.
Oh.
So in fact, I've got the lease. So I'm on the hook for the lease through the next 4 years. But the idea is I've subordinated that. So basically I assigned that lease to the pub. At the Allies Pub Corporation, and they have granted the ability for 2 5-year extensions on top of that. So as of right now, there's a 14-year capability of that lease. Having said that, during this first 4 year, I expect probably we will renegotiate that term anyway, just because we want to make sure that it's in the name of the Allies Pub rather than in my name, or British Bulldog Brewery name, because it makes more sense that way. But they are totally on board with that. But they just wanted to make sure that you, as the group, understood that there's no short-term commitment here.
Yeah, that's where I was going.
Yeah. So we have right now a 14-plus year lease on this premises. And-
Landlord is on the plan.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, I just had a meeting with them the other day going, how's it going? So they're very on board with it. They love it. They love this place. They love this building. The landlord is the landlord who basically saved this from being pulled down in 1983. So he created that patio, and he just never seen it being used, and so he's delighted that we're using it, and he's delighted in what we're doing here. And he's delighted we don't do fish and chips. The smell.
So I should know the answer to this. What days are you closed?
So the question are, what days are we closed? Regularly? None. We are open 7 days a week,
Okay. And the hours?
and the hours during the week are from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. So Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. every day of the week. Saturdays we open at noon till 9 p.m. and we also have music that day. And then on Sundays we open for lunch, so it's noon till 4.
And then one more question.
Yes.
Tuesday was a focus. Are there any other days of the week that are now the focus?
Yes.
Which ones?
Recently Sundays have been very poor, but it's June, July.
Well, it's Sunday, it's summer.
Yeah, it's summer. It's
So it is. It's
the
hot.
J months. Okay,
It's
just
hot.
if you're not from the industry, J months in Northern California suck really bad. So that's what's going on there. One of the other things I wanted to talk about though is in terms of like how are we doing generally as within the industry, and I looked at some data on that and it's pretty interesting. So pre-COVID to now, in the restaurant sector as a whole, we have only just had revenue that's greater than pre-COVID. So 22, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, only just broken it. But now dig into the numbers. Full service restaurants are still 20% down. Quick serve or fast restaurants are 20% above.
Yeah.
And now, if you add in the fact that full service restaurants, in order to make ends meet, are having to do DoorDash and Uber Eats, this is not an actual figure, but it's a figure known from the fact that I work with somebody that works with restaurants in town. It's about 30% of their revenue. So right now, if you don't have DoorDash and you don't have Uber Eats, you should be, quid pro quo, about 54% of where you were pre-COVID. Well, we're not. Why are we not? Because we have members. Because we are pushing in that direction. We have more and more events, and the more we make this an event focus, the better this organization becomes, the better and more healthy we become. And we are here to basically create a long-term asset, a legacy for yourself, for Chico, and something that we can all celebrate and bring people to downtown. So I just wanted to put that up.
Steve, just from the times we've been here, it doesn't look like you're very needing the students that much. That's not a large part of your.
So number one, we don't go out to attract students because they usually are looking for dollar shots and $2 beers, and it's not our model. We're more the craft brewery kind of feel and craft beer. The other thing is when they come here, they see their professors and teachers here, so they tend not to want to come anymore. And so it's not a thing. See, there you go. So it's not who we cater to. The other thing you'll find is that we were talking about the restaurant industry as a whole, but the 18 to 34-year-olds are no longer going to the restaurants like this because they've changed. So they're looking for non-alcoholic, they're looking for fast at home, they're looking for chemicals. Sorry, but they are. So apparently ketamine is more healthy for you now than having a beer. So they transitioned into a different direction. But COVID has done a lot of that. But one of the key things that we're trying to change here, though, is one of the other aspects of the community aspect to this is that since COVID, we now have a public health situation called loneliness. It's actually recognized. as a public health crisis because people are becoming isolated. Why are they becoming isolated? COVID did that to start off with. They got used to it. They're working from home. They're ordering meals in. They're staying away from social settings. And this is about the reverse of that. This is about creating environments, creating events that bring people together so we can start socializing and become normative society again. So part of what we're doing here actually is appealing to the public health department as well as everything else. So part of the passion is really to solve that problem too. Any questions for the board or founding members?
Steve, what are you hoping to see in 5 years?
In 5 years, I'd like to see this place thriving. I'd like to wander in and see all the people that I know and sit down and have a beer with them and chat to them, see it basically open up Chico downtown and create a thriving downtown environment, which also can give back to downtown. It's really creating that legacy. I would love for it just to be self-sustaining, self-functioning, and happy to be involved on the board level. But at some point, I'd be happy if somebody else wanted to take that on too.
So, I initially asked if there was a way that I could do the $5,000 over time. And Steve and the organization allowed me to do that.
This is why we have members. It's brilliant, because I didn't put it in there. If $5,000 is too much of an ask immediately, but you feel like that's something you could meet over time, we do have an ability to spread those costs. So effectively, you can sign up for it and basically spread the cost dollars over like 10 months. We can go up to 10 months, so you can do $500 a month for 10 months. We're trying to not get into an annual situation because it just becomes really hard. Because it dribbles through. It's more like sustaining membership of NPR. Where everybody. You can do it. Where every time, you're going to hear over and over again, we need more members, some have gone away, some are coming back in. Do we give them votes like the rest of the members who've really kind of wanted to put this on the map? It's hard to do that. So down the line, is there room for that? Potentially. But in the meantime, it's like we really want that we want to see the members be fully committed, being in there. But if it is stretched to find that money immediately, we can spread that, and we can spread that burden over a period of time.
It worked really well.
It worked really well for Mark, so that's perfect. If there are no other questions, I would really like to invite the members to go chat to you. You can chat to the members. We're here to answer the questions. We really want to see, whether you can be in or you can't be in. What else can you do to help others? If you know people that would like to get involved, if you know people that say, hey, this organization, that organization really knows about it, please let us know. Scott here will take any and all information from people. I did bring membership forms so that if you are ready and you want to take one away and look at it, we have them here to distribute. So please take one away with you. But don't feel like that's the end of it either. Give us your information. I'm more than happy, or actually most of us are more than happy just to sit down and talk through any other concerns you might have. I'm not sure there are. It is what it is. So we just want to build that membership and really kind of grow something here that's going to be, fantastic for Chico for the long term. And with that, closing remarks. Thank you.
That's the problem with assuming. The what? That's the problem with assuming, right? Well, I just figured it was next month. And then I rescinded the thing when I went home. The planning to go to, the coast and I just sent it. And then when I got back, I was like, mine had like that tent cleaned off, was like noon, and I got everything put away, I got lucky cut things back to storage. And then I said, I'm going out to get the pool. Maybe if I keep my ass going, I might go down by 6:30 for the, right?
Gotcha.
So no, I was absolutely crazy.
Oh my God.
No idea.
All right.
So This is the question from,
Hey Dave, nice to meet
you know, the people in the mall.
Scott, how do you spell your last name? You said it again, I lost you on the last one.
You know what we'll do? It could be people sitting in the back. So I'll play it by ear and see what the weather report is.
We've only got 3 of us. Yeah, I was just
Right.
And what I told somebody else, I said, you know,
Can you get my beer?
it's 1 month, once in July, once in August. I mean, well, we pull. If we can. All right.
Very good.
yeah, the QR code is great. Let me verify, please. Doing some redwood. No phone.
We had a cheap water. All of my portraits did up on the show. You know, my people are listening. And part of both of those months was having, I would hire them on. With some instruction. It was very popular. So, you know, I'd provide the supplies, I'd probably three portraits. Okay, here's draw this person draw. When you do this, you get some. And, okay, draw this one. Not new, obviously, but, and anyway, I know it's very popular in the cities, you know. You did. You went to an event where a number of artists got together and were working on a project. Was it and so that was it. So, okay. Well, anyway.
Well,